Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Kadar of GMS Gulf Coast. I'd like to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors are given unto the apostle elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 plus years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. I also like to send a shalom to the hopeful elect, speckled bird, that innumerable number, scattered out throughout the four winds of planet Earth, north, south, east, and west, which consist of men, women, and children in that order. I also like to send a shalom to the various GMS camps, elders, and heads. And last but not least, I'd like to send a shalom to any of you Akim not named GMS, but walk in one body and one spirit in Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching this 100% truth that is, as it is taught to us all by the apostle elders of Great Millstone. To you all, shalom. Cato Institute. This came across my, and you see it's dated March 2022 of this year, and we're in the last quarter, or last, eighth of this particular year, 2022. But I just want to check this out. I mean, the lengths that they will go to try and discredit the persecution or to discredit Deuteronomy chapter 28, the curses that proceed in that chapter, that identify, that show forth as signs for who the Israelites will be today in modern day. The lengths that they will go through and go to sow doubt in the minds of our people for the most part, because this is really, for the most part, this is where it only matters is that the people whom is being disenfranchised or being not accounted for his labors, As a matter of fact, I'm gonna grab that. It just goes without saying. Let me grab that. I think it's Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 1, and it reads, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors." And that's what you're seeing. Spiritually, the Lord is rebuilding the house of David and having his servants, his men, Lord willing, we those men, beginning with the apostle elders on down, are standing in great boldness against all the lies that have been perpetrated, all the falsehoods that have been pushed throughout the time that we were asleep. I mean, being asleep, being in the world, being swayed back and forth by every wind of every doctrine that satisfies our flesh, And now that the Lord has awakened that remnant, that number of men that he had set aside for himself, then these things have to be contested. They have to be brought to, they have to be contested. They have to be brought to question. Because this Cato Institute reads Christianity, I'm going to read it correctly, is the world's most persecuted religion, confirms new report. Notice how they say most persecuted religion, because to go and say that they're the most persecuted people, you got those Amalekites, or those kikes, those Jewish people, what they put together atrocities that they claim they went through, but it's It's evidence on top of evidence showing uh, uh, that's not the case. That's that what they actually went through was orchestrated, and what they went through. Let's be serious here. Is it in any comparison? So called 6 million of them, in comparison to hundreds of millions of us who made the trip forcefully from the west coast of Africa to the east coast of the Americas, and so much so that the sharks have made them a new feeding route following those ships. So you compare that 6 million of them in comparison to the innumerable amount of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans who have died throughout the persecution that we suffered from these people. Baruch again, not Baruch, Salaki. Wisdom of Solomon again, it reads, Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And they want to write you off as a joke. You're a proverb or a byword, you colors, you blacks, Afro-American, African Americans. You know what I'm talking about? Every 10 years or so, they change up your identity to keep you from awakening to your true identity. And now that this truth is out here, which has been without fruit for so long, pursuant to 2nd Ezra 6 and 28, now they come up with these articles. Christianity is the world's most persecuted religion. Why didn't they just say the world's most persecuted people? Because a great number of people claim to be Christian. Am I right or wrong? But to be Christian is to do what? To follow the law, statutes, commandments, or follow the ways of so-called Christ, as we know him as Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Mashiach being the deliverer. He saves, the savior. And when you look at it and you see who's been persecuted, it says that they're the world's most persecuted religion. They didn't say people. Notice that now. Persecuted religion. They X out the people, because guess what? Then you have to show the receipts. Anybody can be a Christian. The people that pull you over and pull a gun on you are Christians. You follow the logic? They're angelical Christians, fucking Catholic Christians, Seventh-day Adventist Christians, Jehovah Witness Christians, Baptist Christians, Methodist Christians. They're Christians nevertheless. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. So how can a religion be persecuted? Is it not the people of that religion? So who make up the people? All ethnic groups. You understand what I'm saying? And Christianity, to be the true followers of Christ, quote unquote, or Yahweh Shai, was so-called black people. Matter of fact, let's go to Acts real quick. Let me go in I got another one right here. Bible right here. Let's see, Acts. I think what it is, 13. This is Acts chapter 13 and verse 1, and it reads, Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that were called Niger, and Lucius of Cheyenne, and Manana, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Now, real quick, I want to look at this word, because these were your true Christians. These were your true Christians, like you, that were called. Listen to this.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
That were called Niger. And let's see what it means.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Check this out. Outline of biblical usage. Nigger, black. Nigger equals black. Ain't that what they call us today? Black. And then one that says surname of Prophet Simeon. Latin origin, black, nigger, a Christian nigger. A Christian nigger. That's what it says right here. Strong's definition of Latin origin, black, nigger, a Christian nigger. So when you read articles like this, Christianity is the world's most persecuted religion because it's been co-opted by the heathens that are round about you. They're not followers of Yahushua. They don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Over there with Pink City and Tel Aviv in the land of Israel now. You think the Lord was over here performing miracles on fairies and transformers? No, sir, he was not. So this is just a misnomer to further throw you off that hot trail to come back into the knowledge of self, to be awakened. And you have these coon pastors and preachers, and I don't want to just lay it on them because guess what? Ultimately, this so-called white man got his hands on the manuscripts and perverted the gospel, and then turned it on to our people. Anyway, let me read a little bit of this here. It says, the group Open Doors U.S. figures that 360 million Christians last year lived in countries where persecution was significant. 360 million Christians. Now that's kind of ominous. That's kind of eerily similar to the population of the American people here in the United States. That's roughly about 360, 380 million. You follow? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, let's read on. It reads, significant, roughly 5,600 Christians were murdered, more than 6,000 were detained or in prison, and another 4,000 plus were kidnapped. And like I said, it could be anybody. Like I say, when you when you go apply for a loan for your car or for a loan for your home, or you go apply for a job, you know, it used to be a time when you go to the place and you fill out an application and whatnot. You follow what I'm saying? When you go to the gas station or to fill up your tank or whatnot, you dig what I'm saying? Or when you you in the park and your child selling bottles of water and whatnot, and you have these Karens, these so-called privileged ass white women, what you think they are? What you think they Muslims? Huh? What you think they Buddhists, Hindus, or something? No, they're Christians. And these people have the audacity to try to muddy the waters and say that it's the most persecuted religion. What about the people? Because you don't want to go into that comparison. Especially after it's been co-opted by all ethnic groups. You got Moabs that are so-called Chinese and Koreans that are Christians. You most definitely have Edomites, so-called white folks, as Christians. You know? You got these Ethiopian Christians. You know? Hawaiian Christians. Any ethnic group that you find here within the United States, somewhere, some shape, form, or fashion, they are dealing in Christianity. That's not to say that they all are, you know, but the majority of them, because this is where it's supposedly be freedom of religion place to be. But when you see they turn out to vote, they always talking about the evangelical Christian. And when you're dealing with so-called black folks, you talking about them Baptists down south, Bible Belt Christians. So that's a vague term when you say the world's most persecuted religion, because they've co-opted and in doing so they've renamed it to take the true persecution of the people who were truly persecuted, because you were called Christian at one point in time. Now it's such a outdated usage, a name usage. You know what I'm saying? They can have it. But the real of the gist of the real is that the true Christians are the followers of Yahweh Shai. So when you see the prophets, when you see the apostle elders of Great Millstone, the elders of Great Millstone, the heads of Great Millstone, the Akim out there with the like mindset, preaching and teaching the same doctrine. The 1/3 of the nation of Israel that make up that innumerable number whose spirit bear witness with the doctrine that's being taught. Those are the true Christians. Let's put a face on it. Those are the true Christians. Anyway, let's read. It says right here, roughly 5,600 Christians were murdered. Man, you probably have thousands of so-called blacks murdered every minute or so here in the U.S. And that's not a stretch to be saying that. Coming up missing, you know what I'm talking about? They found this girl up here in what it was, fucking Yale, I believe, Yale or Princeton or something. I don't know if she was a Hamite or Israelite. Had been missing for a week, and they found her behind the tennis court at the school at this prestigious college, Princeton. And guess what? Nobody knows what happened. And that be the case a lot of the times when it comes to dealing with you so-called black folks. So let's keep it real here, We're not gonna put no spin on it. We're gonna call it straight up the middle, But anyway, 5,600 Christians were murdered. More than 6,000 were detained or in prison. Now, if you go check the prison records and see who is more incarcerated, you make up, and this just going off of memory's sake, you make up about 85, at least 80% of the total inmates within the U.S. Jails. And there's over 2 to 4 million incarcerated here in the United States. And you make up 85% of that? And you mean to tell me that 6,000 were detained or in prison? Who are these people? Like I say, a Christian is the police officer that pulls you over. A Christian is your local federally elected politician. Who in particular are they talking about? Because be that they say that they're the most persecuted religion, they're most definitely not the most persecuted people. Anyway, I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. I'm gonna grab a few precepts and close out. And it says another 4,000 were kidnapped. In addition, more than 5,000 churches and other religious faculties were destroyed. And guess what? We know that the so-called black man church or the black folks church stay getting burnt down. American Christian talk on persecution, but that is what real persecution look like. American Christians talk of persecution, but that is what real persecution look like. They want to claim that this right here, what I just read, 5,600 were roughly murdered. 6,000 were detained or in prison. 4,000 were kidnapped. 5,000 churches were burned. And they want to say American Christians talk of persecution. That is what real persecution look like. You see how they just see that's why I brought out that scripture and Baruch. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. They have made no account of your labor. They speak lawfully when it concerning oppression. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. Yeah, let's grab that real quick. I think that's in the book of Psalms. They speak lawfully. See, and this is a form of them being lawfully by just ignoring the facts and just, blatantly just sitting up here making up stuff, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Hell, not in trouble as a man. Let's see. This is Psalm 73:8, straight to the point. And it reads, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. They speak with great hate when it comes to you. Because this right here, that statement right there, American Christian talk, American Christians talk of persecution, but this is real persecution. This is what real persecution look like. This disregarding, null and void the things, the experiences, the horrific experiences that we had to experience, our forefathers had experienced coming over this place, crammed in little compartments. You know what I'm saying? Minstrels coming on, people defecating on one another. You know what I'm saying? About urinating on one another and whatnot. You go look at some of these films, Armistead and Roots and whatnot. They speak lawfully concerning and wickedly concerning oppression with great disdain, and then try to make up these little stories right here and try to strum at your heartstrings. And this works for the most part when it comes to 2/3 of our people who believe in this fallacy called Christianity nowadays. They are not Christians themselves because they don't follow Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. They follow not the steps of Yahushua. They don't believe in him. They're the regeneration of those who gave him up. Free Barabbas. Free Barabbas. It's like you for my temperament. I'm just a little. Anyway, it says every year Open Doors U.S. releases its World Watch report of the 50 states most likely to punish Christians for their faith. Last year, 11 nations were guilty of extreme persecution. Afghanistan took over the top spot from North Korea this year. Get out of here with that, because see, guess what? What they're doing, remember I said that they co-opt true Christianity and turn it into a doctrine, precept of men. Matter of fact, let me grab that. Let me go to Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 29. It says, right here it says, it reads right, it's Isaiah 9:29 It says, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Why? Because this wicked ass philosophy that been given to our people. It says, for the Lord Yahweh had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep. Deep sleep. To believe in this foolishness. And to believe in modern day Christianity today is just like satanic witch worshiping and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Because they believe in it. They celebrating what the name of that shit? Halloween. What the day is? Well, they celebrating. You know, if not today, they celebrated it. You know, and they gearing up. You go in these stores, they got the little Christmas wreaths and whatnot. They gearing up for Black Friday. And guess who in them stores by the boatloads? Jake, you so-called blacks for the most part. And Northern Kingdom as well. You see Issachar, you see so-called Mexican, you see Manasseh, the Cubans. You see Ephraim, these Puerto Ricans. You see them stacked in these stores and whatnot. Let's keep reading. It says, for the Lord had poured upon you spirit of deep sleep, and had closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, the seers had he covered. It says, verse 11, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed. And this book is still sealed to 2/3 of our people because they refuse to listen to the men of the Lord as they give you the proper breakdown to these scriptures. They still believe that a damn snake was in the garden and beguiled Eve and all that, and they bit of an apple and all this old foolishness. And if that's the case, then why snakes ain't still walking around? Anyway, it's like, let's see, and it says, wherefore, verse 13, it says, wherefore the Lord said, for much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by what? Precept of men. So that's why our people are easily drawn into a lie because they've been taught the precept of men. You know, verse 14, it says, "Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work amongst this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid." And the Most High making a fool of him. How? Because he's bringing these men that you disrespect, you have no respect for, and they bringing you this truth. But beginning with the apostle elders of Great Millstone on down, yeah, huh? The Most High is making a fool of your so-called wise men, your prudent men, huh? The cleverness and the craftiness of them, because the scriptures also say, and I'm roughly paraphrasing, that wisdom, the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. These preachers and pastors that have gone to these theological seminary schools like it, and have been given master degrees and bachelor degrees and PhDs in theology. Most High is making a fool of them. They can't break down nothing, and they will go right along with the narrative that's being pushed in this article right here. I'm almost certain they would, you know. Anyway, Afghanistanians took over the top spot from North Korea this year. Open Doors explained that it long was impossible to live openly as a Christian in Afghanistan. Yeah, because they ain't come to let you come over there pushing that old white, blue-eyed, red, pale skin, shaggy hair, filled with lights image. They ain't letting you push that. They ain't going for it. You know what I'm talking about? These folks know of your trickery. You know what I'm saying? This so-called white man, he's got so boastful and proud, he gonna try to push it on people who he sat there and made deals with, you know what I'm saying, in order to keep the true Christians hid, to keep them blind, which is Israel. Then you're gonna turn around and try to pull that same old game, sleight of hand game with them. They're not going for it. Anyway, it says leaving Islam is considered shameful, and Christian converts face dire consequences if their new faith is discovered. Either they have to flee the country or they will be killed. Unfortunately, the August collapse of the U.S.-backed cabal government made the situation immeasurably worse. According to Open Doors, Christian persecution is extreme in all spheres of public and private life. The risk of discovery has only increased since the Taliban controls every aspect of government, including paperwork from international troops that may help identify Christians. See, it's just, anyway. Christianity is the world's most persecuted religion. That's a joke. Anyway, let's pull out of this real quick. I'm going to grab a few precepts, and I'm going to close out. This is, let me see. Let me go to, let's see. Now, we know Daniel, for the most part, he went into what persecution did he go? The Babylonian persecution, because the Babylonians were sacking Jerusalem at that time. You know what I'm saying? Daniel was one of the captives. So, we've experienced many different instances where we were slaves to these nations, and we're still slaves to these nations right now to the very day, given these contracts that they have you to sign. You know what I'm talking about? Birth certificates and so forth. Anyway, this is Daniel 9, and I'm gonna go straight. Let's see, and I'm gonna start. Let's see, and I'm gonna start at verse 9, and it reads. To the Lord our power belong. To the Lord Yahweh our power belong mercy and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against Him, huh? But the forgiveness and the mercy still lies with the Lord. That's why you hear a lot of the times tell you to repent. refrain from believing these damn lies that these people are pushing out, and at the same time disrespecting you, talking about Christian are the most persecuted religion. Why they didn't say people? Because they know it's a damn lie. Anyway, it says, neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord Yahweh our power to walk in his ways, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. It says, ye, all Israel have transgressed, all of us have, thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse, you go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, starting at verse 15 on to verse 16, and you'll get the curses. It's poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. Verse 12, and it says, and he had confirmed his word which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. See, that's why they don't want to go in there and say people. You see what I'm saying? So they say religion. You know what I'm talking about? Just being crafty. That's just being crafty. Because right here in the scriptures, let's read verse 12 again. And it reads, and he had confirmed his word which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. A great evil. Real quick. And we just look at the word evil real quick. Let's see what the word evil means. Bringing upon us.
Strong's H 7451. Ra. And second entry.
Slacky.
Strong's H 7451. Ra. And second entry. Ra. And third entry. Ra'ah.
Online biblical use, adjective, bad, evil, bad, disagreeable, malignant, bad, unpleasant, evil, giving pain, unhappiness, misery, displeasing, bad, bad of value, worse than, worse comparison, sad, unhappy, evil, hurtful, bad, unkind, vicious, bad, wicked, ethical in general, a person or thoughts, distress, misery. He had brung upon us a great distress, misery, injury, calamity. Let's see. No. Affliction, bad, calamity, displeased, distress. Great grief. Let's see. From heavy hurt, full, ill, favored, misery. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But the Lord had brung on us what? Great misery, calamity, distress. Verse 12 again, and he had confirmed his word which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great calamity, miseries. For under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. That's why you get those false statements there talking about Christianity is the most persecuted religion. What about the people? Because anybody could be a Christian nowadays. Joel Osteen, he's an Edomite. He's a so-called Christian today. You had the Jimmy Swaggart and all those prophet preachers from back in the 70s and the 80s and whatnot. And a majority of them were so-called white people. So anybody can be a Christian nowadays. So this is just another way of trying to, just like those fake folks over in the land talking about 6 million of them have been done wrong. You follow what I'm saying? All these old made up numbers and whatnot. These made up scenarios and whatnot. These made up curses, for lack of better words. They don't fit these people. Don't fit these people at all. Yeah. Anyway, that was the point on that, to be honest with you. I want to grab another real quick. Let me see if it let me see. Let's see if this fit this. Let's see. And it does fit this. Check this out. It reads Amos 9:8, and it reads, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord." Huh? For lo, I will command and sift the house of Israel among all nations, like a corn is shifted in a sheaf, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. No, that's not the one I wanted to get. But it has some relevance in this. You know what I'm talking about? It has some relevance in this. I'm finna get ready to close this out. Let me see. I think it's in the apocrypha what I was looking for. Let's see. Let's see if this is what I was looking for. I'm finna get ready to close this out. Just wanted to touch on, just going into our calamities, things that we've, this ain't never happened to other people. Talking about some damn Christian persecution. Folks is always trying to, seek sympathy, because the majority of the Christians nowadays is them. They co-opt the Christianity and made it their own with that old, the Lord loves everybody. And 2/3 of our people believe that. Whether they believe that Yahweh Shai, the one the world England called Jesus Christ, is a black man or not, they still believe that he loved everyone. So you can't, you can't straddle the fence about this. I know he is a black man, but the Lord loves everybody. Get out of here. This is Baruch 4:6, and it says, "Ye were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because ye moved Yahweh to wrath. Ye were delivered unto your enemies." And that's a part of the curses. Were they sold to the nations? Was Christians, these so-called Christians today, these so-called white folks that are in these damn police suits, these politicians and whatnot, were they sold to the nations? Did they come over here involuntarily? No, they floated over here on ships, granted land and all kind of things, all kind of tricks and trinkets that came along with them arriving over here. We were the only people that were brought over here involuntarily. Miss me with that old Christianity. Anyway, Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.